Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation and reflection continues from Surat War Mahalle Chauthe Ki, the 26th in this rung, and the saloks are also compositions of Nanak IV, Guru Ram Das. The recitation of the first salok. Salok Mahalla Chautha. Antar Agian Bhai Mati Madhim, Satgur ki Prateet Nahi. Andar Kapat Sab Kapto Kar Jane, Kapte Khape Khapahi. Satgur ka Pana Chit na aave, Apne sway firahi. Kirpa kare je apni, Ta nanak sabad samahi. The sabad, this pori, is about the manmukh, the state of the manmukh, the degenerate mind. And the Guru says, Antar Agian. Antar here is what is within. It refers to the state of one's consciousness. Antar Agyan, when ignorance prevails or when the consciousness is not awake, meaning it's tied to the ego, then what happens? Bhai mati madham. Bhai is a condition. Mati madham. Madham is dim. There is dimness of the intellect. The intellect is feeble because it doesn't grasp reality. It's just caught up in the ego. And there is no discernment of the Satgur, the enlightener, that principle of knowledge, wisdom, that channel. There is no discernment at all. So totally ignorant. Andar kapat sab kapto kar jane, kapte khape khapai. Such a mind is deceptive within, deceit, sabotage. You see, we are the ego self-sabotages, and that is what the Guru is saying, andar kapat. And then it acts out that self-sabotaging behavior when it interacts with others. And the result is that in this deception, in this self-sabotage, it wanders and goes astray. Khape, khapai. And obviously, Satgur ka pana chit na aave. There is no way that such a mind could actually discern the way of the Guru. Apne sway firahi, because it is simply interested in its own selfish ends. Only if the divine, her being, were to grant its grace, kirpa kare je apni, ta nanak sabad samahi, does one then internalize the sabad, the narrative, the instruction of the Guru, the Satguru. This is the mediator. So this is essentially the psychology of ignorance. The absence of any recognition of the Satguru's way. And so deceit is not simply lying, but it is simply the mind looking in the right place. I'm not looking in the right place. It is the paradigm itself is wrong. So here, grace becomes the pivotal factor. Without it, one remains bound in this paradigm. And so we look for the Guru to help us shift our paradigm. And the theme continues in the second salok. Manmukh maya moh vyape, duje pae manu athir nahi. अन दिन जलत रहे दिन राती, हाउ मैं खपे खपाही। अंतर लोभ महागुबारा, तिनके निकट न कोई जाहे। ओए आप दुखी सुख कबहू न पावे, जन्म मरह मर जाही। नानक बख्श लय प्रभ साचा, जे गुर चरनी चितलाही. So there is that condition here. So the manmukh is entangled in Maya. Our psychic apparatus comes from Maya. The body is a production of Maya. So we are, by our very natures, bound in one sense. But in another, we are not. So we have this dual nature. But we are entangled. Moha vyape. We cannot but see Maya as an attachment. We are attached. Duje pae. That's the second layer of Maya, where duality. We are caught in the opposites of Maya. Sukh, dukh, good, bad. These opposites, the dualities of the mind, the two polar opposites of the mind, and the mind vacillates between the two. That is what is called, and then the Guru says, Manua Thirnahi. The mind cannot find stability. And what happens then is, Andin Jalatarahe Dinarati. It burns in desire and anxiety. How me kape kapai. And in this ego self, it goes astray. And then it is filled with greed. Antar lobha mahagubara. There's a great darkness of ignorance. And so none comes close to such a mind where there's sense that this person is greedy. But the fact of the matter is that they are in pain. Oye aap dukhi. Never finding any joy. Sukh kabhu na pave. Again here, janam mare mar jahe. We talked about this a couple of sabads ago. This is the arising of desire and its interaction with the ego and action. It is just, desires pop up, they die, they come up again, they die, and that is how the mind just sort of ebbs and flows with this unendingly. That is the janama mare mar jaye. So we need the gift. We need the gift of discernment from the Guru. So the manamukh is really enslaved by Maya, the illusion, and haume, the ego, to a state of perpetual alienation. So it finds no real companionship. This also embodies existential loneliness. Only through divine grace, through turning attention to the Guru's wisdom, can you release yourself from this cycle. And now to the Pauri. Pauri, Sant Bhagat Parvan Jo Prabh Paya, Soi Bichkhan Jant Jini Har Tyaya, Amrit Naam Nidhan Bhojan Khaya, Sant Jana Ki Turi Mastak Laya, Nanak Bhai Puneet Har Tirth Naya. Parvan, in order to be validated, one has to be pleasing to the Har, which means one has to be ego-free. You have to empty yourself out. You have to be passive to that eternal truth. And they are wise beings, say Bichkanas Jant, who contemplate the Har, Jini Har Tyaya, because they then feast upon the treasure of wisdom, which is nectar. Amrit Naam Nidhan Bhojan Khaya. Well, the Guru says, Sant Jana Ki Tur Mastak Laya is another way of saying, in the company of the wise ones, you actually, their their understanding rubs off. So this is what being this is sanctity. To be sanctified is to be accepted, parwan. So there's no ritual action here. It requires contemplation, congregation, and the guidance of the Guru. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.